O-Level Chemistry, Paper Code 5070, Paper 1, Variant 2, May-June 17, and today we are going to solve question number 1 to question number 20. Question 1. The diagram shows 4 pieces of apparatus that are used to measure the volume of a gas or liquid. Which piece of apparatus should always be filled to the same level? Here we have 4 options. First, burette, then gas syringe, measuring cylinder, and pipette. In pipette, the volume is fixed. It is normally 25 cm3, whereas in option A, B, and C, we can fill the liquid or gas as per our requirement. So here volume is not fixed. So fixed volume is in pipette, that is given in option D. So correct option D. Question number 2. The diagram shows the structure of 2 forms of carbon, X and Y. Which of X and Y conduct electricity? Here this X, it represents diamond, whereas Y is graphite, and we know diamond do not conduct electricity, whereas graphite is good conductor of electricity. So X will not conduct electricity and Y will conduct electricity. Now we check the options. In option C, it is given X do not conduct electricity, Y conduct electricity. So option C is correct option. Question number 3 is same as in paper 1 variant 1. This video I have already uploaded. Now I am not going to discuss it here. For further explanation, please watch that video. Question number 4 is also same as in paper 1 variant 1. Question number 5. The table shows some properties of 4 substances. Which substance is an ionic compound? Here we have 4 columns. In the first column, melting point. In second column, conducts electricity when solid. In third column, dissolve in water. And in fourth column, conducts electricity in aqueous solution is given. For the ionic compound, we know ionic compounds have high melting points. Ionic compounds do not conduct electricity when they are in solid form. Ionic compounds are soluble in water, and ionic compounds conduct electricity in aqueous solution. Now if we check the option B, we are looking melting point of the compound is given here 801. Conducts electricity when solid, again in the option B it is given it do not conduct electricity, so it may be an ionic compound. Here in the third column it is given dissolve in water, and in option B it is given here it dissolve in water. Ionic compounds are soluble in water, so here most probably this option B is correct option. Okay, we will also check the last column. Here it is given conducts electricity in aqueous solution. We know all the ionic compounds, they conduct electricity in aqueous solution, and here in option B it is given it conducts electricity. So here correct option B. Melting point 801, conducts electricity when solid, no. Dissolve in water, yes. Conducts electricity in aqueous solution, yes. So correct option B. Question number 6. 4 samples are spotted on chromatography paper. It is known that one of these samples is pure compound Q. A separate sample of pure compound Q is also spotted on the paper. The paper is placed in a solvent. The diagram shows the chromatogram produced. Which statement is correct? Okay, first thing here, it is given we have a pure compound. Q is a pure compound. For the compound 1, we have spot at 3 points. So this one is not a pure compound. Compound 1 is not a pure compound. Compound 2, we are looking only 1 RF value we get. So this one is a pure compound. 3 is also pure compound. 4 is also pure compound. Now here this compound Q is given. RF value of Q is at this point. This is the spot we got at this point, and we are looking that the compound 2 and compound Q, these two are in the same level. So compound Q will be compound 2. Now second thing here, we are looking that for the compound 4 it moves furthest. Here the spot we got is at the highest point. So here we can say this compound 4 has moved furthest. Now we check the option. Option A, sample 2 has traveled the furthest. No, here we are looking this compound 4 has traveled the furthest, so option A is incorrect. Option B, sample 3 has traveled the furthest. Again it is incorrect. Option C, sample 4 has traveled the furthest and sample 1 is pure compound. Yes, it is okay. Sample 4 has traveled the furthest, but sample 1 is not pure compound. Here we have observed that sample 2 is pure compound. So here our correct option D, where it is given sample 4 has traveled the furthest, sample 4 has traveled the furthest and sample 2 is pure compound Q. This sample 2 is pure compound Q because here for the sample 2 and sample Q RF value is same. So here correct option is option D. Question number 7 is again same as in paper 1 variant 1. Question number 8, which statement about sulfur and its compound is correct? Number 1, sulfur is group 6 of the periodic table and has 6 outer shell electrons. Yes, it is correct. Sulfur belongs to group 6. Number 2, in hydrogen sulfide H2S, sulfur shares 1 electron with each hydrogen atom. Yes, it is also correct. Hydrogen has only 1 electron. Sulfur shares 2 electrons. It will share 1 electron with each hydrogen atom. So this point 2 is also correct. Number 3, sulfur dioxide is used as a bleach. Normally sulfur dioxide is used as a preservative for food, but it can also be used as a bleaching agent. So number 3 is also correct. 1, 2, 3 all are correct, that is given here in option A. So correct option is option A. Question number 9. 50 centimeter cube of 0.1 mole per decimeter cube silver nitrate is added to 150 centimeter cube of 0.05 mole per decimeter cube of sodium chloride NaCl in a beaker. As well as solid silver chloride, what is present in the beaker after reaction? Here we are reacting silver nitrate and sodium chloride. When we react silver nitrate and sodium chloride, we will get silver chloride and sodium nitrate. And in a balanced form, we can say 1 mole of silver nitrate will react with 1 mole of sodium chloride and we will get 1 mole of silver chloride and 1 mole of sodium nitrate. Here we have volume and concentration of silver nitrate and sodium chloride is given. With the help of this concentration and this volume, we will calculate the number of moles of silver nitrate and number of moles of sodium chloride. Here we have calculated the number of moles of sodium chloride and silver nitrate. The number of moles of silver nitrate is 0.005 moles and number of moles of sodium chloride is 0.0075 moles. When we react this 0.005 moles with 0.0075 moles of sodium chloride, only 0.005 moles of sodium chloride will react with this 0.005 moles of silver nitrate and we will get 0.005 moles of silver chloride and 0.005 moles of sodium nitrate. Since here sodium chloride is in excess, this amount is more as compared to amount of silver nitrate, so some of the amount of sodium chloride will remain. Now we check the options. In option A it is given aqueous silver nitrate and aqueous sodium chloride. No, aqueous silver nitrate will be consumed completely because here amount of silver nitrate is less than the amount of sodium chloride. So option A is incorrect. Option B, aqueous sodium chloride and aqueous sodium nitrate. Yes, it is the correct option. We will get aqueous sodium nitrate. Sodium nitrate is product, so this one we will get. And second thing that is given here, aqueous sodium chloride. Yes, we will get aqueous sodium chloride because here aqueous sodium chloride is in excess. So some of the amount of sodium chloride is not reacted. So here correct option, option B. In C it is given aqueous sodium chloride only. No, it is incorrect. Aqueous sodium nitrate, this one also incorrect. Correct option, option B. We will get sodium chloride because this sodium chloride is in excess, and the remaining two items that we will get is silver chloride and sodium nitrate. Silver chloride is already given here. So in the option B, it is given sodium chloride, this sodium chloride, and aqueous nitrate, this aqueous sodium nitrate. So here correct option, option B. Question number 10. Nitrogen monoxide and oxygen react to form nitrogen dioxide. What is maximum volume of nitrogen dioxide that can be obtained from 1 decimeter cube of nitrogen monoxide reacts with 2 decimeter cube of oxygen? In the balance equation, we are looking 2 moles of nitrogen monoxide reacts with 1 mole of oxygen, and we get 2 moles of nitrogen dioxide. One thing that we have studied, that 1 mole of any gas at room temperature and pressure, it occupies 24 decimeter cube of volume. Since here we have 2 moles of nitrogen monoxide, so here total volume of this nitrogen monoxide will be equal to 48 decimeter cube. Here we are looking, we have 2 moles of nitrogen dioxide. Number of moles of nitrogen monoxide and nitrogen dioxide is same. Since here total volume is 48 decimeter cube, so definitely here it should also be equal to 48 decimeter cube. Now it is asked here, what is the maximum volume of nitrogen dioxide that could be obtained when 1 decimeter cube of nitrogen monoxide reacts? When 1 decimeter cube of nitrogen monoxide will react with oxygen, we will get same volume of this nitrogen dioxide. If here it is 1 decimeter cube, then here this nitrogen dioxide will also be equal to 1 decimeter cube. And 1 decimeter cube is given in option A, so correct option, option A. Question number 11 is same as in paper 1 variant 1. Question number 12. Cesium is the same group of periodic table as sodium. Which product are obtained from the electrolysis of concentrated aqueous cesium chloride? Cesium chloride means we have cesium ion and chloride ion. It is aqueous solution. Since it is aqueous solution, so we have hydrogen ion and hydroxide ion. So here in the solution we have 2 positive ions, that are cesium ion and hydrogen ion. On the other side we have 2 negative ions, that are chloride ions and hydroxide ion. Now what is asked? Product at negative electrode. Negative electrode means here it is cathode. Here we have 2 positive charges, one cesium ion and second hydrogen ion. Since cesium is more reactive than hydrogen, so cesium will not move towards the cathode. Towards the cathode, what will move? Hydrogen ion. At the cathode, it will gain electron and it will be converted to hydrogen gas. So at the negative electrode, we will get hydrogen. Hydrogen is given here in option C and D. Now when hydrogen is liberated at cathode, what are the remaining ions in the electrolyte? There is cesium ion, there is hydroxide ion, and there is chloride ion. This cesium ion and hydroxide ion will react together and it will form cesium hydroxide. Cesium hydroxide is given here in option C. So correct option, option C. Question number 13. The diagram shows the apparatus for the electrolysis of aqueous copper sulfate. In experiment X, both electrodes are inert. In experiment Y, both electrodes are made of copper. On which electrode is solid metal deposited? Solid metal means copper. Copper is positively charged. Since copper is positively charged, so it will be attracted towards cathode. Now here we are looking in X, this cathode is electrode 2. It is connected to negative terminal of the battery. So here electrode 2 is cathode. So in electrolyte X, the metal, the copper will move towards the electrode 2. Same thing for Y. In Y we are looking that electrode 4 is connected to negative terminal. So it is negatively charged. It is cathode. This copper, or we can say this metal, will move towards the negatively charged electrode. Negatively charged electrode is electrode 4, and at the negatively charged electrode it will gain electron and it will be converted to copper metal. So here metal will be deposited at electrode 2 in X and at electrode 4 in Y. 2 and 4 is given in option C. So correct option, option C. Question number 14 is same as in paper 1 variant 1. 15 is also same. Question number 16, in 4 separate experiments 1, 2, 3 and 4, nitric acid was added to excess marble chips and the volume of carbon dioxide formed was measured. In all 4 experiments, the same volume of nitric acid was used. Its concentration or temperature, or both concentration and temperature, were changed. The result of the experiments are shown in the graph. Okay, here we have a graph on the x-axis time and here on the y-axis volume of carbon dioxide produced. Means here on the y-axis we have product. Which statement is correct? Option A, a lower concentration of acid was used in experiment 3 than in experiment 1. Yes, it is correct option. Here in experiment 3, the volume of the product form is less as compared to the product form in experiment 1. So here we have lower concentration of acid, here we have higher concentration of acid. So here it is correct. A lower concentration of acid was used in experiment 3 than in experiment 1. Option B, experiment 4 was faster than experiment 3. It is wrong. Experiment 3 is faster than experiment 4. If we draw a gradient here for 3 and for 4, it will be observed that the gradient for 3 will be more steeper as compared to for 4. So this 3 will be faster as compared to 4 because the gradient will be more steeper in 3 as compared to 4. So this option B is incorrect. Option C, the acid used in experiment 2 was of lower concentration than in experiment 1. No, the acid that is used in experiment 2 and in experiment 1 should be of same concentration, because here we are looking the volume of the gas, volume of carbon dioxide, we got the same amount. So this concentration should be same. It cannot be different. So option C is also incorrect. Option D, the temperature of the acid was the same in experiment 1 and 2. No, we are looking here rate of reaction is different. So definitely here temperature is not same. It is different. So option D is also incorrect. Here correct option is option A. Question number 17 is same as in paper 1 variant 1. Question number 18, zinc react with dilute sulfuric acid. Zinc react with dilute sulfuric acid and we get zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. From this equation, what can be deduced about the reaction? Option A, it is a redox reaction. Yes, it is correct option. Here zinc has oxidation state 0. This zinc react with sulfuric acid. Here in sulfuric acid, oxidation state of hydrogen is +1. After the reaction, here oxidation state of zinc is +2. So here we can say this zinc has lost 2 electron. A loss of electron is called oxidation. So here we can say zinc is oxidized. Now here for hydrogen, oxidation state is +1. Here we are looking oxidation state of hydrogen is 0. So here we can say hydrogen has gained electron and gain of electron is called reduction. So here we have oxidation and also we have reduction. So it is a redox reaction. So option A is correct one. Question number 19. consider the three reactions. Number 1, reaction between ammonium chloride and calcium hydroxide. Number 2, ethane burning in air. Number 3, reaction between ethanoic acid and ethanol. What is true for all three reactions? Option A, carbon dioxide is formed. Option B, neutralization take place. Option C, oxidation take place. Option D, water is formed. Here our correct option is option D. When we react ammonium chloride and calcium hydroxide, we get ammonia and water. So here in number 1 we get water. When we react ethane with oxygen, we get carbon dioxide and water. So in number 2 also we get water. Number 3, reaction between ethanoic acid and ethanol. When we react carboxylic acid with an alcohol, we get ester and water. So here in number 3 also we get water. So in 1, 2 and 3 in all the reactions we get water. So here correct option is option D, water is formed. Question number 20. Which statement about weak acid is correct? Option A, they are partially ionized. Yes, it is correct option. In strong acid, they ionize almost completely, whereas in weak acid, they ionize partially. So option A is correct one. What is given in the other options? Option B, they do not react with metals. No, whether the acid is weak or strong, it reacts with metal. So option B is incorrect. Option C, they do not react with strong alkali. Acid reacts with alkali, so this option is also incorrect. Option D, their solution have pH values in the range of 0 to 2. In the range of 0 to 2, it is strong acid. For weak acid, it is close to 7. So this option D is also incorrect. Correct option, option A, they are partially ionized. Okay, now we have completed up to question number 20. For remaining part 21 to 40, we will solve in the next session. Thank you very much.